Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Ye. I'm the country chair of MDRT South Africa. I'm privileged to visit ANANDH RAMDHIN in his office in Amanzimtoti, and I haven't been to Amanzimtoti for quite a while, and it's good to be here with him. And he's got a beautiful office overseeing the Indian Ocean. And Anand, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Kevin. And yourself?
Fine, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity to have this chat. Anand, can you tell the audience about yourself, where you grew up, what you studied?
Okay, so I basically grew up in a place called Chatsworth, and Chatsworth is an area that we moved into when we were very young. It was an area that was available for those people who didn't have homes, especially amongst the Indian community, where we applied for housing, and eventually we were approved, and they gave us homes, and then eventually we moved into Chatsworth, and that's how Chatsworth was born. This was in the early 70s, 1970s. Right. So I grew up in Chatsworth, and I schooled in Chatsworth, primary school, high school, and yeah, that's where I grew up with my mom and dad. My dad is late. He passed away at the age of 40 when I was 13 years old. So he died of alcohol abuse. He was an accountant, and so I think the challenges of life really push some people into various things that are not good, and he was one of the people that succumbed to alcohol abuse at a very young age of 40. My mom was 38 at the time when he passed away. So she was a single parent, and I was just 13 years old.
Right.
So it was difficult because, growing up without a dad made it difficult. My dad resigned from work, took out his pension. So eventually he died with basically really nothing. So there was not much that could be handed down to us, from a wealth perspective.
Right.
Insurance, no insurance. So we basically really started off in a difficult way to face life without any finances, not being able to go to university or study, because my mom was employed, but she was working in a clothing factory.
Right.
And they didn't earn a lot of money at that time, so it was difficult for her, but she did her best to take care of us and bring us through to where we are today.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned that when you were young, you had to start working at a factory.
Yes. So effectively, when I finished school, due to the fact that we didn't have money to study, and it was very difficult, I was looking for a job to work, and eventually a friend of mine, his dad used to work at a shoe company, and his dad eventually arranged for the owner of the company to take us in.
Okay.
And we started off working in the shoe factory. So that was when I just finished matric, so I started off work in the shoe factory. So my first job was counting heels and soles.
Counting heels and soles, okay.
Right. So I think I was really determined in life to make something out of myself, especially with the fact that I was in an unfortunate position of having a dad that did not provide for us financially should death occur. And then when I eventually came to know about the insurance industry, that's when I realized that would have made such a big impact on my life if he did have insurance.
Right.
If he did provide correctly, it wouldn't have been so difficult. But on the other end, when I realized that it was difficult for me, I think it was a good thing, because it helped me face life with the challenges ahead and be positive to try and get myself out and be focused on making something out of myself. So now being in the insurance industry for almost 30 years, next year will be about 30 years that I'm going to be in the industry. I think I'm in the right place. Being able to make an impact on people's lives is what I enjoy. Helping people that were unfortunate like how I was to become positive about life, about changing their approach in terms of making sure they provide for their families, making sure that they have the required security so the kids are not in the position that I was in. So I think that brings a lot of joy to me. I think initially in life when you start working and you want to look at the world and achieve, and you want to become successful financially, I think everybody wants to make money, and it's not a bad thing. But as you get older, you realize it's not just about making money, it's about the impact you're making on people around you that matters more than the material things, because the cycle goes where you build up so much of things in your lifetime, but when you leave with nothing.
That's true.
So making an impact on people's lives, seeing the joy that you can bring to them, their families, making sure that they have their houses in order is an amazing thing, and it is an amazing experience. I think that brings more reward to me than the financial benefits of being in this industry.
Going back to your life story of in a shoe factory, did you learn to make shoes?
So basically, I understand the process of making shoes. Let's put it that way. So I started off counting heels and soles, and because I was so determined to make things happen in life for myself, within that first year, I became a receiving clerk.
Receiving clerk. What does it mean?
So receiving clerk is the person who collects the material that gets delivered to the factory in order for them to make the shoes.
Right.
So from the receiving clerk, I was promoted to a storeman. Storeman controls the stock and the stores that manage the raw materials that get sent out to the factory. So I became the storeman, but I didn't last too long in that job because I was able to tick off whatever I needed to tick off in terms of the job, and I wanted more in terms of challenges.
Right.
So effectively, I actually left and I moved to a new company.
Okay.
In a similar position as a storeman, and then eventually the owners of the company realized that there's more potential to me, and then they employed me in the administration as a creditors clerk. While I was working, I started studying. So I started working towards getting myself doing my CIS, Chartered Institute of Secretaries.
Okay.
And eventually, once I started doing that, then they saw the potential in me, and then they moved me into an admin position, being a creditors clerk. And then eventually I applied for a job with a company called Adcock Ingram.
And pharmaceutical.
So the pharmaceutical company, they used to manufacture the Panado and Comprel tablets.
Yes.
So this was in the early 1990s when I started working at Adcock Ingram. I started off as a creditors clerk, then I moved through as a debtors clerk, and then from a debtors clerk I became an assistant accountant, and eventually I became an accountant when we eventually got retrenched in 1995-96.
Oh, what was the reason for that retrenchment?
Adcock Ingram merged with a company called Premier Pharmaceuticals up in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So they decided to close the self-medication plant in KZN, and move up to Johannesburg.
Okay.
I was offered a position there though, but in 1993, 3 years prior to that, maybe it was a blessing from God to get me involved in the insurance industry.
Right.
Because my cousin, who was already in the insurance industry, introduced me to the insurance industry, and then I started doing some work for him on the side.
Yeah.
And then eventually I enjoyed it. And then when I got retrenched at Adcock Ingram in 1995, I did most of the pension funds for all the staff that got retrenched.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so that's how I started up my offices in 1995, 96 January. That's when I set up my offices under the name of QLB Investment Brokers.
QLB Investment Brokers.
Yes.
And which company were you doing the work for at that time?
Okay, so I started doing work for Sanlam. Sanlam was one of the first companies. Sage Life at that time was now Momentum Life. I used to deal with Sage Life, Momentum Life.
Yeah.
And then I used to deal with Protea Life.
Protea Life.
Protea Life became Commercial Union, and now they're part of I think Momentum.
Right.
They're part of Momentum Life now. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started off in those days with Protea Life, with Sanlam, and then I enjoyed being independent advisor, independent broker, and that's where I started off in the industry.
And 96, you set up the QLB Investment Brokers.
Yes.
So did you just do investments?
So basically it was more life insurance, investments, retirement.
Right.
It was the whole planning in terms of your family planning, in terms of your small business. And then due to me coming from an accounting background, I had an accounting practice which I set up on the side.
Right, okay.
And my wife was also a qualified accountant.
Yes.
She then left work when my daughter was born, and she decided to join the practice, and then she took over the accounting practice. Then I continued with the financial planning and the advice in terms of wealth creation.
So to this day, your accounting practice still does the accounting or the tax returns for clients?
Yes. So the accounting practice part of our business manages the individual clients for their personal taxes, the SME clients for the day-to-day accounting functions, the management reports, the financials, submission to SARS. We also have an auditor associated with us that does all our audit work. So we built up a fairly good client base, and that initially complements our financial planning practice, because the whole objective of QLB Investment Brokers was a one-stop shop in terms of a client and their finances.
Right.
Provide a service for their tax, provide a service for their life insurance, their investments, their vehicle, the household insurance. So that's more or less how QLB Investment Brokers was created on that basis.
Okay. And so initially, how did you go about marketing your business and your services?
Well, I think the marketing part of my business was through word of mouth. I think that was the biggest draw card for me. I think the impact that I made on people's lives, the personal touch in terms of being more than an advisor and embracing them as part of my family is what was the biggest marketing tool for me. And right up to this day, there's not much marketing that I do.
Okay.
It's more by word of mouth, existing clients, where the existing clients and their families become my family and my clients, where I can advise them and coach them. And I think, I guess anything you do, if you do it well, and somebody is impacted, it's just like a doctor. Lots of people may have issues that they may be having with their health.
Yes.
They try and look for the best doctor.
Right.
The doctor gets referred by experiences of other patients and by the impact that he's made on that patient in terms of the healing, the recovery. So I think the same thing happens with us. We make an impact on people's lives. We help them achieve success in their finances. We make sure we provide protection for them. And the benefit of that is that they put their faith and their trust in us, and doing that, our job is not to ever let them down. It's to make sure that we take care of them, because that's what we're in the business for. And I think that's the biggest marketing tool for me. So I think, I've been blessed, and I think any advisor in this business, if you do the work the right way, there's no doubt you will achieve success. You will benefit financially, but the reward is the impact that you see and the joy you see on other people's lives, that you realize, hey, you've really done something good, out there.
Yeah. And when you set up the brokerage from day one, you started set it up as independent. So you have contract with a number of companies and not just one company.
Yes, I think
you want to offer your clients
the best,
the best solutions.
Yes. And I think that was the whole idea around having different contracts with different companies.
Right.
And for me, I think it was just making sure that the client had the best. But I think my work is based on what I've done for myself.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that you can do for a client is give them what you have. Because I think you will make sure that you have the best.
Yeah.
So the best, if it's good for you, then it's going to be good for your client. So I think it's easy for me to share a lot of what I do for myself that makes an impact on other people's lives and let them follow me.
Okay.
So I think for me, it was about getting the client the best. In those days, it was a bit easier to have many contracts and deal with many companies.
Yeah.
The compliance was not the way it's done now. It was easier.
Yeah.
The advisors just did whatever they could do. I think it was more about selling and making money and achieving goals and targets. But as we came along the year 2000, that's when I changed my entire focus, because I also then contracted out to Discovery Life.
So you with
that's when they first launched.
Okay.
So I became an advisor for Discovery Life as well. And at that time, I realized Discovery had a big range of solutions that was available for the entire client's portfolio.
Okay.
And that's when I realized that I needed to give the client what was going to be the best.
Yeah.
So from the time Discovery launched their products and they came into the market as a life insurance company, that's when I started focusing more on a company that had a solution for every area of the client's portfolio.
Right. Okay.
So then Discovery evolved, and eventually from health, prior to that, with health, they came out with life, they came out with invest, then they came out with insure, and now they came out with Discovery Bank.
Yes.
Effectively, they found solutions for every area of the client's portfolio. And I was quite happy with that, because from from the year 2001, 2002, when I started working with Discovery Life as an independent advisor under QRB Investment Brokers, it was easy for me to see that majority of my business was now being placed with Discovery, opposed to most of the other companies that were out there.
So at that time, when you were evaluating various solutions, you found Discovery to be the best, and that's the way.
Well, it was the best for me, because it gave me the answers for all the questions I had within my portfolio.
Right.
And eventually, I guided my clients into more or less most of the things that I had, which was basically all Discovery.
Right. Okay.
And eventually, I came up to 2011, and I realized that 80 or 90% of my work was Discovery.
Okay.
And then I realized having additional contracts within my brokerage didn't make sense.
Okay.
So then I was contacted by Logan Naidu.
Okay. Yes.
And Logan took me up to Johannesburg. I had a meeting. We had a presentation at Discovery, and that's when I came back, I realized, me being in the tied agency space made more sense. It meant that I have one company to focus on that has the solutions for the client. It was easy for me not to become a salesman and sell, because it was difficult for me to give a client a Sanlam policy, another client a Momentum policy, another client a Liberty policy. Then it didn't make sense.
Okay.
Why I had to use different companies to give them different solutions. So how would I justify it when I had all my stuff with Discovery,
right?
And I've given you a Sanlam policy, so it didn't make sense for me to be in a space of being more like a salesman. So then I said, well, let me stick to what I've been doing, and then I moved into the tied advisor space.
That was
2011.
2011.
Under DFC Amschlanger.
Okay.
Discovery Financial Consultants.
Okay.
And Logan Naidu was our BE at that time.
B?
Our business executive.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So he was our business executive, and then I worked under Logan at the Discovery franchise or the Discovery Financial Consultants, and I spent the next 10 years with the DFC Amstranda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So up to now, that's where you are.
So yes. So I think the only change that I made was last year, because being in the DFC space meant that my entire clients were all with Discovery, and I requested for them to create some kind of independence, because my practice, as you see, is quite a big practice.
Yeah.
I have a number of staff, and they rely on my practice for their living. Majority of my staff are with me and for an average of about 12 to 15 years.
Sure.
So I realized that if something should happen to me, I needed to have a succession plan.
That's right.
Not just for my practice, but for my clients. Because those clients now needed an advisor if I'm not around tomorrow. So being in the tied advisor space meant that I was going to end up leaving my clients without an advisor, and that troubled me. So last year I moved across from the DFC channel to the DFP channel. DFP is the Discovery Financial Practice.
Okay.
So it's a juristic representative of Discovery, as you see on my card and my emails.
Yeah.
So I'm a juristic representative under ANANDH RAMDHIN and Associates.
Okay.
So basically it's more or less a Discovery company within Discovery.
Right.
So it's independent. I'm the director of the company.
Yeah.
And I can have a succession plan, because that company can still continue with my entire client base being within that practice.
Yeah.
My staff will still continue.
Yeah.
There'll still be, Kev, being in this industry for so many years, my clients have a very, very strong bond and relationship with my staff. It's not just with me. So I'm not just the only one that interacts with them. So they deal more with my staff.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not here tomorrow, my staff are still here, and they're more than happy to deal with them.
Right.
But we need to make sure that we have an advisor that can look after them and take care of them.
Yes.
So that's where my succession plan started off, and hopefully with my son coming into the practice at the beginning of this year, he's completed his BCom degree, he's doing his honors. Hopefully he'll do his CFP next year, and then I'll introduce him into the practice slowly, so he can take over and eventually be my backup should something happen to me unforeseen.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
This is, I suppose, Discovery creating a solution for you, and to have this kind of because you're probably the first one I come across with this kind of a setup, which I'm yet to try to comprehend how that works from a legal point of view. Okay. So does all your clients have their policies and investment with Discovery, or do you still have clients that where they may from maybe many years ago the legacy, and whether they still have their policies or investment with other providers?
So I oversee the clients' portfolios, mainly the Discovery portfolio under my practice, my Discovery practice. Yeah. But my brokerage still operates.
Oh, okay. So there's two entities.
It works parallel, because my wife's still a key individual, and she's also a representative under the brokerage license.
Okay.
So she's done a RE1 and a RE5.
Yeah.
She oversees the practice, and I've got reps that are engaged within my brokerage practice that oversee clients outside of Discovery.
Okay.
So effectively, we have a solution, or the best of both, where if a client, we cannot find a solution for Discovery, I hand them over to my brokerage, and they take care of that client and see to the needs that may be.
Like the IC, because I know that Discovery approached me like many years ago. They also the concept of IC.
So the DFP is more like that IC kind of channel.
Okay.
IC. So I can, within that practice, engage other representatives that I can build into the practice, have different rep codes linked to them, where they can train under me and start managing their own clients, their own client base, within the practice of the DFP, similar to the IC. Yes.
Okay. So right now, if you look at your clientele, what type of clients are they? Are they business owners? Are they professionals? Are they like government employees? Where do you...
So my client base is a mix of business owners, lots of business owners, due to the fact that we network within my accounting practice.
Oh yes, yeah.
So lots of business owners, lots of individual clients, professional clients, a lot of professional clients. Yeah, so it's a mix of various clients, from the SME market to the individuals to families. Yeah.
And are your clients mostly in Durban area?
So 60% of my clients is up in Johannesburg, and the rest are spread out between KZN and Cape Town.
How did that happen that now majority of your clients in Durban?
So effectively, once the young people study in KZN, they look for opportunities in Johannesburg. So majority of the people that are up in Johannesburg are from Durban. So effectively, they finish their studies here, but they move to Johannesburg because that's where the hub is in terms of business and job opportunities, and that's where they find the jobs. And then those clients and their referrals then between Durban, Cape Town and Johannesburg, I mean, and I've got clients all over the world as well. I mean, in Canada, Ireland, Dubai, Singapore. So, clients that have immigrated, clients that are working overseas. So, so I guess majority, as I said to you, majority of the guys that are up in Johannesburg are from Durban originally when they grew up. I mean, you are from Durban, but you are based up in Johannesburg.
And so how do you service the clients in Durban? I mean Joburg.
In Johannesburg. So Johannesburg, prior to COVID, I used to travel almost weekly or every second week up to Johannesburg. But I think COVID, as much as it had its negatives, it had some positives that came out of it, where it taught us to work remotely. We were forced to work remotely via Zoom, via Teams. So I started off when we had COVID. I started working remotely via Zoom, and I have more meetings via Zoom now than in-person meetings, and clients appreciate that.
They actually like get used to it.
It saves you a lot of time, spending time driving to the airport. The airport used to be 5 minutes down the road for me.
Now it's
but when they moved down the North Coast, now it's like 45 minutes away. So now to spend 45 minutes getting to the airport, another 2 hours to get onto your flight and get up to Johannesburg, half the day is gone. So now that time that I've lost in travel is now saved, and I use it more effectively. So COVID has taught us a lot of positive things, which we now can use in our practice. So I'm hoping that I can be sitting in the Bahamas and have all my meetings.
Don't you all dream of that?
That's what we're all dreaming of, so that we don't have to travel too much, but still be able to continue in our practice, earn a decent living, and make an impact on people's lives.
And your staff complement at this stage, I saw you have quite a sizable office.
So I've got a staff complement of about 15 staff. So they split between life and invest. And then I've got a short-term department that deals with the commercial and domestic insurance. And then I've got an accounting practice that oversees the accounting side. So the staff are split between those three areas.
And the medical aid?
And so the life, invest and medical aids are all within the same team.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So you don't have someone just dedicated to medical aid, but rather the team.
So basically, my staff are split between clients, between the alphabets. It makes it easier for them now to focus on their clients and their alphabets to take care of everything from their life, their invest, their medical aid, the gap cover, and all the things that need to be taken care of. Then on the other hand, the short-term department will oversee all the short-term work, which is the domestic insurance, the business insurance, and then the accounting and tax department will see to the accounting and tax needs.
That's an interesting part I'd like to ask you, because the way I structure my practice is like I have 3 departments. One is life, invest, EB.
Yes.
Second is healthcare, medical aid, and the third is
Yes.
the short term.
Yeah.
But if you, the way you structure it, wouldn't your staff or administrator be quite burdened, because they have to be up to date with all this product knowledge and the process and your cross life, invest, and medical aid?
It's quite simple, because I mean, we're dealing with one company,
right?
And I try and get them all onto the same training.
Okay.
So it becomes easier for them, as much as they may be in life and invest and health.
Yeah.
I get them educated with the insure side as well.
Yes.
Because should I need to move them between departments, it's easy for them to understand what's happening.
Okay.
So it's really not difficult, but I guess the size of my client base, because I've got about 1,000 clients around the country.
Sure.
So effectively, it's easier for me to split them via alphabets. It's also a bit better for the client to deal with more or less one person than dealing with 2, 3, 4 different people.
Right.
So one person deals with mostly with the client, opposed to various different people.
So let's say, for example, my understanding of what you say is that one person deal with clients, say from A to E, okay?
Yes.
And then, but what happens if that staff is off sick? Then who steps into?
So they cover for each other.
Okay.
So they will always support each other. So the guys that are, so if somebody goes on leave, the A to E, if that staff member is on leave, then the rest of them would take over and cover any queries, whatever needs to be done for those alphabets, until that staff member is back, and then they'll refresh them with whatever they need to be updated with, and then they'll be back into the same position. It's easier like that, because even if I don't have one staff member, it's easier, the practice can still run. If I have one person just managing health or life or invest, and they're not here, then it becomes a problem.
Right.
So it's easier for me to split them between the number of clients, and then let them focus. I think it's a bit more easier. Well, it's worked for me all the years.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. And what CRM system do you use for managing your clients' information and collaboration?
Okay, so Discovery provides smart advice for us, which we use quite extensively, and my brokerage uses Xplan.
Okay.
So Xplan is a fairly decent system. We've been using it for a number of years.
Right.
But that's what we work between the brokerage with Xplan, and we use smart advice and the systems that Discovery provides for us.
And then the short-term insurance policy, like management and claims and that, is that also done on Xplan, or is it mainly just Discovery Smart Advice?
So it's on Discovery's system, so it's easier for us. Once you go into the Discovery system, everything becomes easy.
So on the short-term side, do you just purely do Discovery Insure?
So no, so on the brokerage side, we deal with other companies.
Right.
But on the Discovery side, we deal with Discovery Insure on the domestic and the commercial lines. Yes.
And now, do you also do the Discovery Bank with your clients?
Yes, so we started within the last year engaging with Discovery Bank. So we as advisors are allowed to open up a bank account for our clients as well. So we've started with that. It's working well. Lots of people are quite keen on opening up bank accounts, and it's working well, helping them engage with bank and Vitality as a shared value proposition. It's amazing. I think once people understand the process that Discovery has formulated and the benefits that come out of it is amazing.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to MDRT.
Yes.
How did you get to know about MDRT, and when did you join?
So I came to know about MDRT in the earlier years when I started off. That was in the 90s, late 90s. I came to know about MDRT. There were certain people that we always looked up to in the industry that promoted MDRT at that time. A lot had to do with Logan Naidu, Hiren Ramata, LC Maraj, all these guys that were big MDRT fans, that were members, that encouraged us. And eventually I became an MDRT member in about 2001.
Okay.
Yes.
And so have you been to meetings?
Yes, Kev, I've been to meetings. My first meeting was in Toronto, Canada. That was, I think, in the 2001, 2002 year. That's when I went for my first meeting. From the first meeting, I went to my second meeting, which was in Nashville, Tennessee. And then my third meeting was in Las Vegas. And then it was the one meeting that I went for, which was a spouses meeting, the one in New Orleans.
Okay.
I think that was around 2005, 2006, where I took my wife, and she also enjoyed the meeting, the MDRT meeting in New Orleans.
Right. And then what the spouse meeting? What did she do, or what?
So they had focus sessions for the spouses as well.
Okay. What's a topic or area?
Where they could choose different sessions and go to and listen to speakers and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was really, really nice because it was a taste of what we were enjoying for a few years with MDRT and the conferences that we attended to. So they went to focus sessions and they learned a lot from those sessions, and they enjoyed it as well.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yes.
I'm yet to hear about the spouse meeting because I don't know about recent years.
I can't recall when last I had a spouse, but they did have a spouse meeting, and that's when I took her and went, and she did really, really enjoy it. Yes.
Right, and then locally, have you been on the committee, MCC?
Yes, I was quite a number of years ago as involved as a local chair for KZN, together with I think Logan and a few of the other guys. But this was we're talking about more than 10 years ago. Right. 10, 12 years ago. Yes.
In terms of like MDRT, what have you learned from MDRT? Are there like maybe story you like to share, or maybe some ideas that you brought home and that really had an impact on your practice?
Yes, I think visiting the first conference, when my first visit to Toronto, Canada, was the highlight of my first experience. Because I didn't know what to expect, and when I got there, it was exciting because there were so much of people all around the world that we met with, between India, between China, between Australia, between various parts of the world, and that was exciting because when people met with you at that time, you had a badge on you.
That's right.
It said how many lives you touched, what position that you achieved, whether you achieved quarter of the table, top of the table. And at that time, I was just an ordinary member of MDRT. So when I looked at some of the old guys that were there at the conference, and I saw top of the table, 250 lives, and I was like, yo, these guys are really, really big guys. And I was wanting to be like one of them. And so that was my first conference in Toronto, Canada, and then I went to New Orleans, and then I started understanding the concept of what they were trying to do. Is trying to help us, lift us up in terms of our ability to perform as an advisor and to make an impact on people's lives. And that's when I started focusing more. It definitely made an impact to my income. I was able to achieve more with the knowledge I gained, the information I got from people that were there at MDRT, and eventually I achieved the first level, which was quarter of the table, and that was very exciting for me because it was a big achievement, achieving quarter of the table. And I was determined to make sure that I get to top of the table.
Climb the ladder.
And climb the ladder, And when I got eventually to the conference in New Orleans, I was quarter of the table, top of the table, and I had over 250 lives.
Wonderful.
And that was exciting for me because then I knew MDRT did definitely make an impact, a positive impact on my life. And as at this year, I'm 18 years top of the table.
Well done.
Thanks a lot, Kev. So I'm proud of the achievement, and I'm happy to maintain that level of performance. And I think, based on me still hopefully being young, not as young as some of the new guys that are coming in the industry. I actually thought I was young at one stage, but now I can see, hey, the years are catching up. But I still got a good number of years ahead of me, which I think will definitely help me make an impact on people's lives. Still continue with MDRT, maintaining my top of the table level, and hopefully attending a few more conferences that I would like to do. But yeah, I'm really thoroughly enjoying it and being proud to say that I'm a MDRT member.
So, Anand, to advisors, younger advisors in the Durban area, in South Africa, and around the world who are watching this now, what would you say to them? Why should they join MDRT? What impact what difference would it make to them as a financial advisor?
I think, Kev, if you want to take your business to another level, you have to join MDRT. There's no two ways about it. MDRT is something that you have to be a part of to understand what value they add to you as an advisor, the impact, the encouragement. You know, the things that you learn is amazing. But over and above that, you know, for me as some advice to the younger advisors is you have to partner yourself with the guys that have done it in the industry. And I'm more than happy to coach or help or to guide anybody young to achieve the success, or share the information that I have to achieve the similar success. I think it's quite important for us to understand that we're in this business long enough to be able to know that sharing is a valuable part of making an impact on people's lives. So if we can make an impact on another advisor, I think that would be an amazing thing, because they will be touching people's lives and doing it the right way. And over and above that, it's easier for you to be coached by somebody who has done it. So for me, I'm more than happy. Anybody that wants to reach out to me, they can find me on LinkedIn, they can pop me a mail, or they can reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to share. And I think that's one of the things that I think maybe in the earlier days it was difficult because we always were intimidated by the overachievers, the guys that were on the top. So we were too scared to go ask and get information. So we did it a little bit the hard way, but the younger advisors have the ability to reach out to us now and learn and get coached. But MDRT is a must for any young advisor. It may cost you a bit of money, but it's money well worth investing. It won't be a cost, but it'll be an investment into your life that's going to make an impact, that's going to turn your entire life around and the lives of your clients.
Anand, thanks for your wise words and your offer. I'm sure there will be younger advisors who will take up on you and to approach you for coaching and guidance. Earlier you mentioned that you're also a businessman of note. Can you tell us about your business ventures and what took you to those directions?
Okay, so basically, you know, as a young man wanting to be successful and look for opportunities is you know how you start off in life, because you come from a background where you know you don't have much, and you can see, you know, I remember myself walking when I finished school, or you know, when I just finished school, I was taking a bus to work, waking up in the morning, taking a bus, trying to find some sort of transport, and you know, getting myself to work. And I always wondered what it would be to at least have my own car one day. Drive my own car. And you know, you always have those high hopes of driving a fancy car. And you know, so it was that led me to understand that, you know, when there's an opportunity there, you have to give it a go. But also at the same time, you know, opportunities come with these challenges. It can be positive, it could be negative. So whatever you do in your life, we must not let the negative get you down. You have to be positive, and not every opportunity that you tackle in life will work for you. So I was quite fortunate though. I got involved in the hospitality industry. So I was a sub-franchisor for a franchise called Simply Asia. So I was the one that started off the whole franchise in the KZN region. I set up 8 stores.
Did you approach them or they approached you, or how did
well, I wanted to set up my own store, and that's when I got approached by the franchisor to say, well, we want a sub-franchisor in KZN.
Yeah.
So they gave me the opportunity, but I set up the first Simply Asia in Ballito, in the North Coast. Yeah. And from there I set up 8 other stores.
Right.
And I owned a few of those stores, and it was good because there's lots of information, lots of experience that I gained from it. Yeah. And in 2018 I decided it was too much in terms of my time, and I needed to streamline my time into more my practice. Yeah. And that's when I got off the hospitality industry. But while I was doing the sub-franchisor for KZN for Simply Asia, I also set up a guest house in Amanzimtoti. That's where we are now, right? Which we ran for the last 11 years. And when COVID came up, we decided to put it on hold due to the risks. And at the moment, we didn't reopen, but we'll look at that maybe going forward. You know, whether it may be feasible based on the circumstances around us. Yes.
And Anand, tell us about your family.
Okay, so my wife and I are married now for 28 years, and she's an accountant, and I'm a financial planner. So we make a good team in terms of our practice. Yeah. My daughter was the eldest. She's turned 25 today. Is her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to her!
Yeah, thank you. So Amy is 25 years old, and she qualified in March as a CA. So she works as a manager for PricewaterhouseCoopers. She's based in Cape Town. And my son Jordan, he's 22. So he's the one that has joined me in the practice. He's done his BCom degree, which he passed last year. So he's doing currently his honors, and hopefully he'll do his CFP straight after that. Right. And my youngest son Josh, he's in matric at the moment. Yeah. So he's the one that wants to do actuarial science, so he wants to do the CA route as well. So we're hoping that he gets good results this year, but he's fully focused on making sure that he achieves what he's setting his mind to. So just the three kids that I have.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think that hearing your story and your background, yes. You know, you have gone through the school of hard knocks, and then how you have your aspirations and yes. your focus to do better in life, yes, and then to get to where you are today. Yes. I think it's just amazing. I think it's an inspiring story to any young people yes. out there, and you know, no matter where yes. you are, and yes. you know, if you are focused and you want to do something and learn things and to be better, I think that you will be able, over time, you will be able to achieve something great in life.
Yes, and I think, Kev, you know, with life's journey, I think we always face challenges, and as much as I am successful in what I do, it doesn't mean that I don't go through the challenges. So younger people that are out there, that are in the industry, that are finding things tough, that are going through difficult times, they need to know that we all go through difficult times. Just to put you in the picture, last year in March, my wife broke her ankle. Sure. It was a major trimalleolar fracture. The doctor that did the surgery in March didn't fix up the ankle correctly. Sure. So effectively, we struggled with the ankle, and being able to support her, leave my work aside, focus on life was a difficult thing, but I had to do it. And in October, we realized that a major part of her fracture was not fixed up, and then she went in for surgery again in October. So, you know, those challenges happen in between. We had the riots in KZN. Sure. So that affected us badly. And then we came back into the new year, and we realized that my wife's ankle we still have to get a solution, because she's not 100%. But while we were busy trying to recover from that second surgery of hers, get through the riots that happened in July, In April, on the 11th of April, we had this massive storm. And I live in a place called Isipingo Beach. And we were flooded out completely. My entire house was flooded.
Sure.
All my cars were completely damaged.
Yeah.
And I had a massive cleanup and recovery. We were airlifted by helicopter due to the fact that the water was 1.8 meters high. I lost one of my dogs in the flood. I lost basically everything that was downstairs, because I got a double-story house. Everything downstairs was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was insured correctly, because the insurance paid me out for basically everything that I've lost, including my cars, my contents, my building. And I was totally amazed. I mean, I'm with Discovery Insure. I was totally amazed how efficient they were and how compassionate they were in terms of helping me get out of that difficult situation with the floods. Kev, we're still recovering. We're still restoring the place. We're still doing a lot of things. We are accommodated outside of our home at the moment. We haven't been back at home yet. But through all those challenges, we still have to keep a positive mind. We must not let anything get us down. As long as you have the ability to wake up in the morning and breathe that fresh air, you must say to yourself, today is a new day.
Brilliant.
You need to make things happen. It's up to me if it has to be. And make things happen for yourself and the people around you. And that's why nothing that comes head on for me that's going to bring me down, because I'm always determined to make sure that I can make an impact, not just on my life, but on everybody around me. That's how I live every day. So I think for the young people out there, if you think you're going through a difficult time, think again. You can get out of any situation, doesn't matter what it is. You can get out of it and become successful and be positive about every situation.
Well, Anand, thanks very much for your time and this beautiful message. And I'm sure that it will help many people, the viewers out there. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like this episode and share it with your friends.